look at these guidelines that are already in existence, if you were to look at the folks who qualify, folks in Randolph County who make $117,000 per year would be able to access these funds. Folks in Forsyth County, where the gentleman from the 27th represents, will be able to get access to these dollars, and they can make up to $459,000 per year. So when folks say the minority party is opposed to school choice, we are not opposed to choice. We are opposed to just free money being thrown out to folks who do not need it.
Another debate in the Senate over school choice and public schools, this time relating to a federal tax credit for donating to private school scholarships. Good evening and welcome to Lawmakers. I'm Donna Lowry in Atlanta. We can call this the 50-50 day for the 2026 legislative session. It's day 20, the midway point. It means we are also 8 legislative days from the all-important crossover day when bills need to pass out of one chamber to have a chance of becoming law. Tonight, we'll talk with 4 lawmakers about their very different bills, all aimed at protecting Georgians or enhancing their lives. The issue of insurance affordability has hit everyone. It's been a priority in the Georgia House. Tonight, we'll get a breakdown on all the legislation on insurance from the chair of a Blue Ribbon Study Committee. We learn of a couple of bills on mental health and suicide prevention issues. Plus, there's legislation to help virtual school athletes, blind persons, school children, and older citizens. All of that coming up after our Capitol correspondent, Sarah Callis, gives us the rundown of the day under the Gold Dome.
Konnichiwa, Donna. It was Japan Day today at the Capitol, and lawmakers passed bills dealing with health, finances, and education.
3 bills in the Senate today, all dealing with money. SB 432 allows the state's university and technical school systems to extend their multi-billion-dollar strategic reserves, generated from tuition and fees, and carried forward from year to year for an additional 5 years. The bill gives schools the ability to self-fund needed infrastructure improvements, new technology, or other major ticket items.
We don't want the university presidents or the technical college presidents to be under a use it or lose it mentality where they feel like they've got to expend all of their funds before the end of the fiscal year or they will lose them. That does not promote kind of a business operation or business philosophy in operating these schools.
The bill passed unanimously. Senate Bill 446 will include Georgia in a federal tax program that allows a tax credit up to $3,400 for donations made to scholarship granting organizations, who would then distribute the money to a variety of students at different private schools. Democrats balked at the bill, saying that the donations could be made to unaccredited schools and it doesn't help public school students.
This bill is excluding 1.85 million students because right now the federal law actually allows public school students to have access to this $1,700. So we are going further than the federal government and saying, you know what? We don't want our public school students to have access to this money, but yet we want to give students school choice. So what we're saying is we only want school choice and options for 185,000 kids. Well, let me correct that, 150,000 kids that are in private schools right now.
Republicans were surprised by the bill's opposition, since it doesn't impact state funding.
This doesn't cost any money. It helps kids and families get choice. Why is there debate? Well, there's debate, Mr. President, because my friends on the other side of the aisle believe in the one-size-fits-all education system. And if we do anything in this chamber to allow parents to have choices and options, we get resistance.
The bill passed along party lines, 31-21. And finally, Senate Bill 462, which will set the rate for an out-of-network ambulance ride with new guidelines.
As you all know, patients do not choose their ambulance in an emergency. This bill will prevent the runaway billing that sometimes occurs unfair billing that occurs when people call 911, dispatch arrives, and they don't know what the bill is until after the fact.
It passed 51-1. In the House, members passed several bills about health and education. House Bill 970 would require cardiovascular screenings for high school athletes.
There's 3 parts of the screening. It's basically personal history questions, family history questions, and the physical exam itself. By this, hopefully we can eliminate or really lessen the amount of tragedies we have in the fall when you see the practice happen and things like that when it comes out.
It passed unanimously. Another House Bill, 943, would create a pilot program to screen all foster children for autism.
A lot of these kids that go undiagnosed develop a lot of anger and defiance, and because of that, they have a lot of mental problems that come along with this. So this would, again, stabilize the foster families, and these kids would be mentally much more healthy.
That bill passed 165-2, and House Bill 419 would require public colleges in Georgia to have opioid antagonists like Narcan on campus. The medicine would be stored with emergency kits.
This drug is very important. It competes for the areas of the brain and helps block opioids so the patient can restore breathing. This bill provides for immunity for the colleges, for the universities, for the technical schools, and for those who are administering this.
It too passed unanimously. Also on the agenda was House Bill 964, which would give volunteer fire departments the same tax breaks as traditional fire departments.
As some of y'all may be aware, local government fire departments are exempt from ad valorem taxes on their motor vehicles and also exempt from sales taxes on their fire department equipment. Independently contracted fire departments, which are mostly volunteer fire departments, are not. And again, both are performing the same service for the public. So the proposal before you today would make independently contracted fire departments exempt from those same taxes so that they would be treated equally as in-house fire departments.
The bill passed 164-4. After the chambers adjourned, Speaker of the House John Burns unveiled his plan for insurance affordability.
Over the last 5 years, the cost of insurance has risen by nearly 60% across these United States, placing a real financial strain on Georgia's small businesses and families.
The package of 4 bills would address homeowner, auto, and health insurance rates. Bills range from limiting profits of auto insurance companies to increasing the fine for over 40 insurance violations, including surprise billing and mental health violations.
Also today, legislators rallied around survivors of intimate partner and domestic violence on Stand with Survivors Day. That's my Capitol Report. Back to you, Donna.
Thanks, Sarah. Soon, lawmakers will begin racing against time to get their bills through one of the chambers. Tonight, we'll talk about several bills. Joining me is Republican Representative Will Wade of Dawsonville. He is one of the governor's floor leaders. He is the vice chair of the subcommittees in Appropriations and Banks and Banking. Also here is Democratic Representative Imani Barnes of Tucker. She's on the Higher Education, Public and Community Health, and Technology and Infrastructure Committees. Welcome to Lawmakers to both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So Leader Wade, we're going to start with you. The 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline, it became available statewide in Georgia back in July of 2022. You have a bill to help promote it, and it's H.R. 713. Where's the problem here?
So this is actually an attempt to get citizens to be more aware of 988 and what it does. I know most of us families, you go to the doctor, you take your kids, you schedule an appointment, you contact a healthcare provider, and you'll receive oftentimes, you know, the prompts for press 1 for this department, press 2, and while you're on hold, you'll hear, if this is an emergency, please call 911. What this is an urging resolution to get the healthcare community to potentially embrace for their providers. You know, this is not a mandate. This is just an ask for them to join us in this effort to spread the news about 988 and its importance. First Lady Marty Kemp has been a stalwart with this effort. Kevin Tanner, my predecessor in the House, he is the director over DBHDD. This is something he supported, and I think it's important if you are waiting on hold and maybe you actually have a mental health crisis and you contact a phone number, instead of dialing 911, you'll now be aware, or a family member that sees you in crisis will have that as a reminder, call 988 instead of 911.
So that'll come in on the phone. You'll hear that as an option.
I believe we
Wow.
will. Yep. We've
Okay.
already had the Hospital Association, many folks in public health like the idea. Again, it's not a mandate. I'm a believer in most of the time when you have a decent idea and you're trying to spread awareness, like a public service announcement, this is a fantastic way to encourage that behavior.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll keep up with that bill. Thank you.
Thanks.
Representative Barnes, let's continue with mental health bills. You have HB 109, a 5-year pilot program for emergency psychiatric assessment. What's behind that and what would it do?
So the Empath Act, Emergency Psychiatric Health Assessment Centers, they would direct you, if you're having a mental health crisis, right back to mental health professionals instead of going to the emergency department where you have to get blood taken and it's a stressful environment. So we're going to bypass the ED, take you right to mental health counselors, specialists, and it reduces the time that you're in the hospital.
Yeah, so it would be kind of a mobile kind of situation where it's a mobile health unit?
So we would just create these in our emergency room.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll keep up with that.
Yes.
Okay. Leader Wade, as a floor leader for the governor, you're promoting his income tax bill. Remind everyone about that before we talk a little bit more.
Sure. So I'm carrying, it's a House Bill 1001. This is a continuation of a joint effort within the legislature and the governor's priorities to reduce income taxes across the state. We believe in wisdom, justice, and moderation in this state, and this governor has led a path with the legislature's help, with former Speaker Ralston and now Speaker Burns, as well as Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, in lowering income taxes for all Georgians. We are now in a position, because of good budgeting, a great economy in Georgia, we're the #1 state in which to do business, we're now going to be able to lower income tax to 4.99, 3 years earlier than the bill originally called for when it was instituted in 2019. So I applaud Governor Kemp. I'm honored to carry that effort. We are getting ready for that to hopefully be on the House floor soon. We are at day 20, so to the folks on Rules Committee, the governor would appreciate your consideration very soon.
They're all watching.
They are. I know you are.
So the other priority, of course, in the House for Speaker Burns is dealing with property taxes. Will we see both happen?
I truly believe that the House and the governor's office and the Senate are going to come up with meaningful property tax relief and reductions and meaningful income taxes. We are a state that has a robust economy that can make what I think the Speaker's mission is, which is mine, is every single Georgian should have the opportunity to own their home and not have to rent it from the government. And this is a path to get us there. This isn't a partisan issue. This is to help Georgians and Georgia families that deserve that opportunity to relive the American dream and pass it on to the next generation. This is important for me and my family. I've got 2 children. I want them to have that realized so that they don't face the burden of taxation on their #1 asset that keeps families thriving.
So you think fiscally we can make that happen, both of them? All righty. Representative Barnes, what is your senior stabilization bill? Tell us about it.
Simple bill. It puts a rent cap that you can't raise the rent up to 10% for 2 years for seniors 62 and over, depending on government assistance.
What made you go for this?
Our seniors are being evicted. Our seniors are becoming homeless. And we should not allow that in the state of Georgia. Their rent is raising about 50%, and we have to at least control how much their rent is raising because of their fixed income.
Okay, we'll keep up with that bill.
Thank you.
You both care about education, and you have a bill to improve digital literacy.
That's
so
right.
Talk about that a little bit. What is that?
So first I want to just say I appreciate the Speaker and Miss Dale Barnes and Chris Irwin, Bethany Ballard, a host of others that have worked on literacy in this state. Obviously reading is extremely important by 3rd grade. But I also, as a parent, am seeing children, this next generation, that are going into a world that is so much embracing digital environment. We need to make sure that those kids are prepared to face the risks associated, whether it's clickbait that's trying to get them to provide their information. It's a way to prevent them from being attacked through human or sex trafficking or child trafficking. There are risks associated with it. And there's also this idea of the character that we have now. I tell my kids, assume you're being watched on camera or you're being listened to. How do you conduct yourself and how do you keep yourself safe, but also use the tools of technology for good and for positive learning experiences.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. It's House Bill 1269. I hope that you'll support it.
Big Brother is there, and we've got to tell our kids about that.
That's right.
So you have a bill focused on children. It's called the Healthy Start Act, and you want to make sure all public school children get breakfast and lunch.
Not just breakfast and lunch, but healthy breakfast and lunch from our Georgia agriculture. So I want us to provide free school meals to our Georgia public school children using Georgia's agriculture.
Okay, and I know you've been pushing this for a while. Where are things going?
I'm still pushing it.
Okay, well, we appreciate
I would
that.
like a hearing just to be heard about how we can help improve literacy.
Okay.
A healthy stomach leads to a healthy mind.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll keep up with that bill. Of course,
Thank
yours
you.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Well, coming up, if you have a complaint about insurance companies, you're not alone. We'll talk about new legislation to help all Georgians, and we'll also focus on some education issues. 2 House members have lots to tell us. You're watching Lawmakers on GPB.
Georgia Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization dedicated to preserving Georgia agriculture. Farm Bureau advocates for all Georgia farmers at the state capitol during the session and year-round. Georgia Farm Bureau, the voice of Georgia farmers.
Explore the stories that move you. Welcome to the incredible world of GPB Passport. From inspiring science to endearing dramas, Passport is your access to an incredible catalog of PBS programming, and new titles are being added all the time. Take a look at what's new.
What is it you want?
Would you indulge me?
Quite something, isn't it, sister?
Scandalous, isn't it? Have I got a story for you? I want to know so much more.
You are really good at this.
I'm just getting started.
We can't wait to see where GPB Passport takes you. Your support as a monthly sustainer connects you to the high-quality news, information, and entertainment that you've come to rely on from PBS. And for GPB, your sustaining support is the most reliable source of funding for the programs and essential services that you rely on right here at home. Make an impact with your sustaining gift today and start streaming. Visit gpb.org and click Passport now. And thanks.
It's not a mountains thing or a coastal thing. It's a Georgia people, places, and stories thing.
Morning edition on Georgia Public Broadcasting.
It keeps Georgians everywhere dialed into home. Tune in to GPB. It's a Georgia thing.
Welcome back to Lawmakers. I'm Donna Lowry. Let's dig into several bills with our guests. Republican Representative Matt Reeves of Duluth. He's Vice Chair of the House Judiciary and on Appropriations, Insurance, and Secretary of Reapportionment and Redistricting. We're also joined by Democratic Representative Robert Flournoy of Hampton. He's on Energy, Utilities and Telecommunications, State Planning and Community Affairs, and State Properties Committees. Welcome to Lawmakers.
Thank you, Donna.
Sometimes all those committees, they're long names, but they're to do good work. So we appreciate you being here. We got to start with you, Chairman Reeves. You've spent months chairing this Blue Ribbon Committee on Insurance Rates. How you listen to a lot of people. What would you say was the number one thing they talked about with you about insurance?
Affordability. Donna, the Georgia House has been working all around the state and across the aisle to make insurance more affordable for hardworking Georgians. The Speaker of the House, John Burns, appointed the Blue Ribbon Study Committee on Insurance Rates after the tort reform vote last year to make sure that insurance customers get the benefit of decreasing premiums and rates and also get their claims handled fairly. So we went to Macon, we went to Savannah, we went to the state capitol, we went to Gwinnett County. We heard from dozens of experts from UGA, Georgia State, University of South Carolina, Insurance Commissioner John King, and also citizens who had trees fall on their house, who were hurt by Hurricane Helene, who had problems that needed solving. And so we listened to them, and we have House Bill 1344, in addition to 3 bills requested by the Insurance Commissioner, 1274, 1262, and 1263. And these bills are designed to improve some momentum that we've got in the last 3 months, where 10 companies have already cut their rates and 2 companies have entered the market. We want to keep that going.
Okay, so there are a lot of bills, but they're all focused on the same thing. You say it's the strongest insurance legislation in the country at this point.
That's right. A lot of other states still have companies leaving their state, still have companies raising their rates, but here in Georgia, due to being the #1 state to do business for 12 straight years, and some things we did last year, we've started a turnaround that we want to keep up through this bill. What this bill does, it increases insurance fines for violations when companies mistreat their customers. It cracks down on uninsured motorists. We have 9.1 million drivers. I heard yesterday from the DDS director. We have about 20% who are uninsured motorists. That's around 2 million people. That is way too many. We're paying for that indirectly by people being uninsured. So we're going to enforce our uninsured motorist laws and also insurance fraud and many things. We have some provisions in there about storm claims, and when you have problems with claims, they need to be handled more quickly and more fairly for insured. So it's a good bill aimed at insurance rates and claims processing.
Okay, so that's 1344. We'll talk about the others in a second. I want to get to you, Representative Flournoy. You have a couple of bipartisan bills that would give students in virtual schools the ability to participate in extracurricular activities. Tell us about it and what led to it.
Yes, well, House Bill 1218 allows for virtual school public school students to participate in interscholastic activities as well as extracurricular activities. The premise for this bill, I actually had a constituent in my district whose son was not able to participate. He was a tennis student, 4.2 GPA, very smart individual, and he was not able to take advantage of actually being able to play tennis. And so once I actually started doing more research in the bill, got legislation proposed, I found out that there were a lot more individuals, a lot more young people who were not able to take advantage of this. Listen, there's over 16,000 virtual students in our state, which is larger than some of our school systems. Our virtual schools, they are in 158 of the 159 counties in our state. So we're talking about a lot of individuals, a lot of young people that could be positively impacted by the passing of this legislation. So I believe that it's common sense. It comes out of the Dexter-Mosley Act, which allows for homeschool students, and so this is expanding that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. The Dexter-Mosley Act did not include kids who are virtual students or in a cyber academy or anything like that?
It did not. The Dexter-Mosley Act was passed in 2021, and it did not include virtual students. And we know after the pandemic, there's been an increase in individuals and parents wanting to have their children learn virtually, and so this is an opportunity for them to be able to take advantage of that and be able to allow them to have activities in school and participate in sports.
Okay, we'll keep up with that. So, Chairman Reeves, let's get back to some people might like the name of the next bill, the Auto Insurance Excess Profits Act, because I think a lot of people think that they should get money back if they get a lot of profits, and that's what this bill would do, right?
That's right. House Bill 1274 adopts a successful model from Florida. At the study committees, we had citizens and insureds coming in saying, I wish that the profits insurance companies would make would get passed on to the customers. And Insurance Commissioner John King found a successful law in Florida that passed on $1 billion of savings just from one company to car insurance customers in Florida. There are several other states who have this model. A lot of car insurance companies are mutual companies, so they're supposed to be doing this anyway. This makes it the law in Georgia that if they have a 5% increase in their expected profit in their insurance rate filing, that they must decrease their rates for the benefit of our auto insurance customers. which we were supposed to have 9.1 million in Georgia, and we're trying to get all 9.1 million insured through this, through the cost going down.
So it wouldn't be necessarily a refund, but your rate might go down a little bit based on that.
That's right. The companies will get in trouble if they are retaining profits, and they're going to be required to file a rate decrease and also have fines. And in a lot of these cases, the fines are being increased fivefold. So we're holding the companies accountable. It's not a cost of doing business anymore. It's going to be a fine and a penalty if they break the law.
Okay. Let's go back to you, Representative Flournoy. You have a bill that promotes Braille literacy. We don't hear a lot about this, but what led you to author this bill?
So I was interested and surprised to hear this as well. The Georgia Vision Alliance, along with other organizations, came to me about sponsoring this piece of legislation. Basically what it calls for, it asks for 3 different aspects for the bill. Number one, it asks for if there's a young person that needs assistance visually, that testing is done. If that testing finds out that there's something needed as far as IEP, then an IEP is mandated so that that young person
Individual education program.
Correct. Could be taken care of. And then secondly, textbooks are then required to have the proper Braille information so that then those individuals that are visually impaired could use those textbooks. And thirdly, that the instructors, whether they are currently instructors or going through school, have the proper certifications so that then they can teach Braille.
This would be in all schools, not just the school for the blind?
Correct.
Is that what you're talking about?
This would be in all schools, yes.
All right. All right, and you've have some support on this too, I would think.
I do have support, looking for more support, but I do have support. I'm excited. There's also some additional legislation that's going to be coming soon for those who are visually impaired.
Okay, we'll have you come back to talk about that.
Yes,
all right,
ma'am.
Chairman Reeves, you've signed on to Representative Eddie Lumsden's bill, HB 1262, that would increase penalties on insurance that if they don't offer mental health parity. And we've certainly heard a lot about this a few years ago when the big mental health bill passed. And there are some insurance companies that maybe are not doing it, allowing people to use their insurance for mental health needs.
This bill will be part of the solution on that, because following COVID, you've got a lot of mental health needs. The law in Georgia is mental health is health care, and this bill will make sure that's the case. Right now, the fines allowed Commissioner King to fine companies $25 million. This would increase it fivefold, so he could fine them $125 million. That'll get their attention. Also, Bill 1344 allows the insurance commissioner to examine fines, wrongdoing, violations when reviewing rates. So it takes the blindfold off. It lets him consider the full picture. When a company comes in and says, I want to raise my rates, they need to have a clean record in treating insureds fairly on mental health, surprise medical billing, and many other areas.
And that's coming down pretty hard on them. But because of the tort reform that took place last year, you've seen some good things happening where insurance companies are actually coming back into Georgia.
Absolutely. American Integrity Insurance entered the market, and then Donegal Insurance in Athens had left the market. They are coming back. And then 10 companies, State Farm, Liberty Mutual, Safeco, Southern General, Progressive, Hanover, Go Auto, Allstate, Country Mutual. I'm going to give them credit every chance I get. It was 9 yesterday, it's 10 today. It was about half that a month or two ago. Hopefully we'll have a longer list due to this good bill.
Okay, so let's talk about the final bill, and that is HB 1263. It appears to allow people to make a claim for a refund or a fee.
There is a tax which is embedded in insurance policies called a premium tax. About half the money goes to the state of Georgia. The other half goes to our cities and counties. I'm proud to represent Suwannee, Duluth, and Sugar Hill, and so it funds their police department and things like that. Companies right now, one company tried to get $150 million back 7 years later from their premium tax because of an alleged accounting error. This bill says, no way, you can't come in 7 years later and try to get money back. It limits that to 3 years, and certainly they're going to get scrutinized if they come back at any time and try to get money back.
Okay, we're going to keep up with all of these bills, but we're going to have to go right now. Thank you for coming on. That does it for Lawmakers. We return tomorrow for day 21. Have a good evening.